Welcome. Oh, come on. Welcome to Hoppies. My name is Damien.
And I'm Aaron.
I'm Jarrett.
And today, we're talking the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Theories, speculation, and all that jazz.
Right here,
right now.
That's what you like.
That's good.
It's a teamwork kind of thing.
That's good. I get paid for this, right?
So, start off. What do we know about the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you guys?
Let's have a recap.
Okay, but as we say recap, like someone's gonna go at the bottom that says recap, you know.
I got Spider!
Basically, Sony negotiated with Marvel and the god Kevin Feige to
He's a
reboot
god.
the series
just
again.
every time you gotta mention him as a god every time you mention Kevin. Like this
He's a
guy-
god!
He's a god.
The god Feige, we'll call him the god. It's honestly in way better hands now.
We can all say that. We can all say that. But still, like,
Are other people, or anyone out there that does indeed like the Amazing Spider-Man series and anything that Sony's done for Spider-Man more than the Marvel
there can only
Cinematic
be one
Universe,
explanation.
just kind of don't watch this channel
No.
anymore. Okay.
No.
Let's just be honest here.
You're ill.
If you like Spider-Man with Sony, I'll probably get a lot of hates, but you know.
No, everyone's gonna agree with you. I don't think there's one person out there that would really. I never heard any sort of hate the fact that Marvel got the rights back. That's what everyone wanted in the first place.
There was more hate that Sony got some of the share of it. The 40.
Yeah.
Was it
I don't know, hate
60
came
and
from
40?
me. Like, I didn't want
Like,
it.
there was more hate towards Sony than like.
No, yeah, we were saying how it made us like kind of nervous almost, the fact that just knowing Sony kind of has that final say in everything that Marvel does.
But even we're talking about this too, about how I think Sony knows that Marvel has a wicked awesome creative team. So I feel like even though Sony has control, the final say, they're gonna let Kevin do whatever the hell he wants because they know they need his ass and to succeed with that Spider-Man character. And like I was saying, like even when we first heard it, like I still couldn't believe it. Like we would talk about this forever. Just like we didn't think it would actually happen. We're gonna finally have a true Spider-Man. Like just
Oh man.
oh my god.
It's honestly like, it's weird to say because like we grew up like being a generation that grew up on like
On
the Tobey
Spider-Man,
Maguire
yeah.
movies and
and the
everything.
90s Spider-Man.
Yeah, the 90s.
Yeah, that one was good.
Radioactive Spider-Man. Hey, you stop.
Alright, so where he's gonna appear first?
Civil War.
Civil War, I think, will be the obvious. Because I feel like we heard speculation when Civil War was being announced that they tried to get Spider-Man at that time and it didn't succeed, so they went with Black Panther instead. But now that I think they have Spider-Man, I don't think, since they already had the set plans with Black Panther, I don't think they're going to bump him out of the way and make Spider-Man. Because obviously in the comics, Spider-Man is one of the big center points of the comic series.
Yeah.
How he had the just that connection between Tony and Iron and Spider-Man.
No, he had that dynamic with a lot of the team members.
But
like,
I
on
feel
his
like
own.
he won't have a big role, but he's gonna be like he's gonna be present,
That's
and
the
he's not gonna
It made me a little iffy about like, I wonder like how far back, like even if during like that big announcement with Black Panther, that you think they were already thinking about it then? Like
I think they were thinking about it, and they didn't think it would come as soon.
So that was more of a safe bet. Like
it was a
use
safe
Black
bet,
Panther.
yeah. And then as soon as they realized they got him, they quickly went and changed
It
it.
kind of looks shitty on their part, like towards like Chadwick Boseman and shit. Because like I'm excited for Black Panther still.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's something we're going to talk about too. How they pushed back, I think, Black Panther and something
all the
else.
2017 movies I think were pushed back. I don't know about Guardians though because that's more like kind of their world isn't
That's
really
something else.
crossed over
They
yet.
don't
Yeah,
need to-
I don't think they really need to move that yet. Another thing, if you guys didn't know, is that the first solo Spider-Man movie in this cinematic universe is 2017 as well. So that's why they're saying that Black Panther was pushed back and apparently Thor Ragnarok was pushed back.
Back to that Spider-Man solo, like how do you think, well I heard like from leaks or whatnot that they're going to have Iron Man in it, but they're going to have Iron Man sort of be like a mentor for Spider-Man, and then how apparently the first half would be sort of like audition. Not audition in the sense that he has to go through like these actual training and stuff like that, but just like Tony Stark like acknowledging him and recognizing him and trying to like, I guess not really teach him, but just sort of be there and like sort of assess him.
Yeah.
And I think they said the second half would be more, I don't know, something more Sinister Six.
It's still early on
Still
though.
early.
Like,
It's
to
still
say
early
if that's
on,
even
yeah.
what it's about.
But that would be really cool if that actually happens.
Do you guys think he's gonna be established as Spider-Man already, or is it gonna be another origin story?
they can't do origin again. There's been too many. Kevin's too smart to know. Okay, we have the first Spider-Man, Tom Maguire, or the one with.
It's probably gonna be like the How Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
It'll be
Just
he's
like a
gonna be
little
Spider-Man.
montage kind of thing of
You
like
just kind
how
of-
he became Spider-Man, like a quick 2 minutes instead of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, and you kind of like you just accept the
Please,
fact
we
that
need that.
you know what it is, and you
Like,
don't
no
need
one
to hear it
doesn't
again.
know how
Yeah.
Spider-Man
now
became.
Spider-Man's too big.
Like how many times can you kill Uncle Ben?
Yeah.
It's gonna be like what you said exactly. They're gonna have a quick recap of how he became Spider-Man, and they're not really gonna focus too much. He's gonna already have his powers. So he's already gonna be established in that universe. I think it's gonna be his early years though. Like obviously his early years, him starting out as Spider-Man.
What do you think like the age is gonna be?
I was thinking that. Oh, you got something?
No, saying how they were. I think they're already talking about. Well, there's a bunch of other speculations, but they're gonna talk about how they're gonna make him young. Like that's gonna be the definitive thing. He's gonna be young.
Teenage years, still.
And obviously, as you guys probably already know, they're probably thinking of. It was spoken of about Miles Morales, gonna start off, and making him the Gambino, Donald Glover thing. But you know what? I think that's not gonna happen yet. I feel like a lot of people feel like this too.
They should really establish as Peter Parker first,
Exactly,
before they go into
they
the
need to do
next
that.
Spider-Man.
Like they have to do him justice, at least first.
I just think one proper movie of Peter Parker.
I wouldn't mind just one proper movie.
Because I'm all for Gambino being.
Yeah.
Like that'd be awesome.
I don't think it would be Gambino.
But I don't think it's no. I don't think.
I'm not saying like it would.
Yeah.
Like I would agree with.
I was saying that like if it was gonna be Gambino, it would have had to been like years ago already. Like to
I think
start,
he could still
like,
pull it off.
Yeah.
He can still pull
He
it
can
off.
still
I don't
pull it
think
off,
he
but
would.
just
Maybe he would. I don't know. But yeah, like you're saying, they need to establish Peter Parker first, and then have. I wouldn't mind Miles Morales later, but you cannot disregard Peter Parker. This is a big. He's going to be interacting with other characters live, and you need Peter Parker first. Like so many people love Peter Parker, they can't just get rid of that.
The big question though, I remember like ever since like people were thinking about a crossover, they'll be like, "Where were you during the invasion, Spider-Man? Where were you during New York and the Avengers?"
I'm saying he didn't have his powers yet.
No,
I was studying.
No, the thing was gonna be.
I wasn't bit yet, man. Jesus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that real time passes in this universe. So like the real time in between the movies is actually how much time has passed since then.
Yeah.
So like it's been technically it would have been like 3 years since the New York event. So basically he could have became Spider-Man in that time on a lower scale and kind of came up over those years.
I'll sort of bring it back to Age of Ultron and the whole thing. And you don't obviously like. I don't think Spider-Man. People think Spider-Man's gonna show up at the end of some quick. I don't think he's going to. Like, it's not gonna.
credit scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's not gonna
yeah.
happen. I don't
Wait,
think not in Ultron. Age of Ultron. No.
Oh, you don't think even after credits? Oh,
I don't think he's gonna.
Like,
Be,
I get hinted.
I
Maybe
was
like
thinking that was.
maybe just
I
a
don't think
little
so.
like.
I don't think he's gonna.
Like,
Well, they do have
I mean,
two.
It's big news. I think
The original
it's-
movie had two post.
I feel like Age of Ultron already has too much big things they have planned already to show
To
after
show,
it
yeah.
that they're not gonna add into Spider-Man. That's my theory. But anyways, back to Age of Ultron.
Right, so there's this other theory that I've had for a while that I kind of picked up on the internet as well, but I kind of thought that it could happen, is the fact that Age of Ultron could lead into Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk. Oh my god. If they actually do this, this will be, I think, one of the biggest and greatest superhero films ever.
It's
They have the proper
pretty
director,
concept.
I'll probably
everything,
cry
the
if I
concept.
see you like that was
Listen.
the thing.
If we ever see at the end of Age of Ultron Hulk getting up in a space pod, I'm leaving the theater. I'm not even gonna finish the movie.
I'm walking out.
I swear to God, I'm just walking out.
Because Hulk doesn't actually have a standalone film.
No, he
Okay.
doesn't. And I feel like standalone film with Hulk. I don't really want to see a standalone Hulk. He's good where he is, unless they do Planet Hulk. Planet Hulk.
Is
I'm
the
telling
first
you,
true good Hulk story. that they
Kevin,
could
if
do.
you're watching this, do it. If you're not doing it already.
I think they kind of left alone in the first Captain America movie, which they never really addressed, and I think is still open ended, is Red Skull's fate.
That too, I was going to bring up. And I remember the first one came out, and I said, like, Red Skull's not dead. There's no way he's dead. He's alive.
It didn't look like a death.
It looked like a
you're
death.
gonna
Obviously,
see
it looked like a death. That's what I thought before. Even in the first Avengers, at the end with Thanos, I thought that was Red Skull too. When Thanos turned around and smiled, I'm like, "Oh, Red Skull!" And then it was Thanos. I'm like, "Oh shit!"
If I can just interject for a second, we've known the character of Thanos for a significant amount of time before these movies came out, and we've always said Thanos. We are not going to say Thanos, okay? Just in this conversation, at least. You may think it's Thanos. I don't care if that's the proper pronunciation. We're more comfortable with saying Thanos.
Hey.
We're not going to do it.
No, seriously.
But yeah, okay. In regards to
What I was saying,
Thanos.
yeah. So what I think a lot of people thought it, like the people didn't really know about comic. I thought that was Red Skull. I thought it was Red Skull at first because it made sense. I mean, in that first cap, he went off into some
I
cosmic
don't know what
portal.
happens to him.
We don't know what happened to him, and I feel like Thanos
met him.
And Red Skull, they have some sort of thing. With Loki also, some teaming up sort of thing, which I think that's going to somehow play in Infinity. But here's my theory. I think somehow at the end, we're going to see Thanos sort of looking over all the Avengers, like somehow on some cosmic screen. He's going to be there just on his throne, just, ha ha! That was part 2 of my plan, and then he's gonna like do something. But I feel like
I honestly think the only interesting thing of seeing Thanos at this point, like after having seen him in Guardians already, they can only like up his appearances. Like it'll get boring just seeing him doing nothing. Like
Yeah.
Like it would have to be more of like you'd have to do something every time you see him now. Like
because he always
he's
sits
done
on
a
that
little
chair and like
yeah.
I like it like that though. I feel like something's gonna happen where some guy's gonna go to him and he does something to signify that he's like just completely badass and powerful.
Like, at least he would
just,
kill
like,
someone.
Just kill someone, but it's like like just sitting on his throne, just like waving his hand or some shit. And just,
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like Thanos maybe will make it. And I can't think of really anything else at the end of Age of Ultron as a thing. And they're obviously going to reference, which is another thing too. They're going to reference Civil War. So obviously at the end of this one, Age of Ultron, they're going to somehow have to make it where they have to. And not in a good way. They're gonna sort of have a fight, and they're gonna have to break up at the end because Civil War is gonna happen next.
So the next movie in Phase 3, the first one, after it is weird actually as well. They actually started considering Ant-Man a Phase 2 movie.
That's the thing too.
Yeah, that one's a weird one.
Everyone's forgetting about Ant-Man. Like, when does that come out? That comes out pretty soon. Like right after Age of Ultron, and nobody's talking about it.
I think a big thing with that movie was it was never really a movie that fit in the first
It
place.
was supposed to be like a standalone.
The whole
like,
reason
Marvel
why
thing.
it's kind of weirdly placed now is the fact that Edgar Wright is no longer attached. And he was actually attached to this project before it predates Iron Man 1. So that's why,
Yeah.
so basically, his whole concept never really meshed with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which sucks because Edgar Wright's an amazing director. But it is what it is.
Yes,
So,
this is the thing. I feel like also when how we announced all the Phase 3 stuff, when that big announcement happened, and they had like Chadwick, Downey, Chris.
yeah.
He completely sort of disregarded Ant-Man, like it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah.
And the thing, I said this with you too, how every time Kevin says something, it comes true. Like you think about how Guardians gonna be really successful. It's gonna be a big surprise. It was a big surprise. It was success. Same with
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. This is gonna be a really good surprise. Really good. It was a surprise. He says nothing about Thor, and I think Thor is like
And Thor is kind of we still like Thor, but it wasn't that great.
But in general, compared to obviously Winter Soldier, let's be honest. Compared to Winter Soldier
Winter Soldier was like
Winter Soldier and
Guardians,
Thor
Thor
is
is just like.
yeah.
But he never says anything. That's what interests me, gets me hyped. He actually said something about Ragnarok. How he said
It's the equivalent of Winter Soldier for Thor.
Oh my god! So they were gonna really work hard.
No,
on
and a
this.
big thing was that there was this little thing before. I saw this one article where they were apparently looking to Peter Jackson. Oh
my
yeah!
God.
So now you know the scope of what they're trying to do with this movie. Yeah, that's kind of a big
Lord of
deal.
the Rings and just in space.
Yeah.
Just picture that. Another.
Well, I'm gonna cry.
Did you even know that either?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah! Oh, now you're gonna drop some knowledge on
Like
it.
I'm like just laughing one tear. Like I'm waiting.
Yeah, that's legit. That's legit.
That's legit.
Okay, so
Civil War, Strange. What else we have? We have Black Panther coming out. We have Inhumans. We have Miss Marvel. And then obviously the big one, Marvel Infinity Part 1 and Part 2.
yes.
Which is going to be a killer ass movie. It's going to be amazing.
But I think it's worth noting that the Part 1 comes out, I think, before Captain Marvel and...
Oh, there's movies in between?
Yeah, it's the first part, and then it's Captain Marvel and Inhumans, and then Part 2.
Well, I'm not ready.
It's a little much.
Time to cry.
Yeah. But
yeah.
with Doctor Strange, we got Benedict on deck there.
I really like that casting. I think that was a good choice. At one point, I was really happy because I heard Ewan McGregor was supposed to be considered, which I actually really...
You would have preferred that?
I don't prefer that, but I think it would have been cool.
I would have been down with
Cool
any
anyway.
of the main ones that they said. Honestly, like I'm just down with the whole casting judgment or all the judgment they've had so far in that whole, all the behind the scenes at Marvel Studios. Like it's just it's all on point so far.
With this Phase 3, we obviously still have. I forgot to mention Thor Ragnarok and Civil War. I guess will be considered Cap 3. We didn't hear another Iron Man. We didn't hear like a Black Widow solo, which I kind of don't want. But you could already see like the transition to changing up the old characters, really adding in new characters, because we know like the original cast of Venom is not going to stick around for long. So they sort of have to transition, sort of.
Yeah, it's gonna
turn it
like
over.
something that I was thinking before, and I think a lot of people can agree with this, is that Civil War will kind of act as like a handing over of the torch. I think I've heard that in an interview or something along those lines, that of like kind of Tony Stark passing it on to like Spider-Man in the sense of the focus of that
Think so?
of the movie franchise, you know.
I feel like Infinity would do that more.
More so.
I think Infinity would be all right.
It's kind of like it's kind of
like
like
it'll be there, but like all right, time for you guys to take it over.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be interesting how they're really gonna do that, because we know you got Spider-Man coming, Black Panther, blah, blah, all those people, but still it'll be hard to do that because I don't see all of them dying, and they're gonna have to exist in the universe. And I guess Tony is such a big character in that universe; it's hard not to. Like, you can't disregard him. Which another thing they said they're gonna like recast them, like do that whole James Bond thing.
Yeah.
They just recast them and then nothing happens. Which actually I'm really cool with that. Like I think they should do that.
Yeah.
But I don't think they should completely disregard him, because you need,
Yeah.
if he doesn't die, you need him at one point
Yeah.
to show that he's in that universe. And like when something happens like after Infinity, like, they have a big like Avengers, I don't know, young Avengers, which I think they're gonna do that, by the way. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But still, with that, they're gonna have to. There can't be a big catastrophic event without Tony being involved or Cap being involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, I feel like there doesn't really have to be a full movie for them. Like, but it's also it's It's a little confusing in the sense that Tony and Cap, like if they were the whole original team, if they were ever recast, like do they need to have full movies? You know, afterwards,
No.
or like
No,
they don't.
They don't know.
Yeah.
They can be.
like it's
Yeah.
done.
yeah.
I don't think they will need.
But at the same time, I think that if it is in such a small capacity, what's the point of recasting? It's a weird concept to think about in the whole thing. Like, it's
But I
just,
think that would be cool if they do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause like I feel like the whole recasting thing, how it sort of would be a rebirth in a sense. Like picture Runaways for him. Runaways was a film I think that was in production. It's like a pretty new Marvel comic with like these young kids and their parents are supervillains, and some of them have powers, blah blah blah. But basically, in that comic, there's a point where Captain America shows up, but he has a brief cameo in it, and I sort of seeing the future of Marvel being like that, and it can be a rebirth. So let's say they do make a Runaways, and Cap shows up, it can be a different actor. He's still like the Chris Evans character, but he can be, oh, it's a rebirth, it's a new Cap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just showing him in that way. Which I think that would be cool if they do that, and then yeah, what you said, they can just stray away from it, like making other storylines,
yeah.
which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the focus, to keep it fresh, they would have to move it on to new characters. That makes it, what keeps it interesting. Like I think Guardians already was a hit, and that could honestly it could shift over to them in a sense even. Like it already kind of is.
Like they can have a whole Marvel Cinematic Galactic universe with their own thing. That's the thing too. Guardians prove that they don't need like Iron Man.
Yeah, they don't need huge characters.
They don't need huge characters anymore. Guardians really prove that.
Which is a scary thought.
Yeah. But I think
It's very scary.
Another like really powerful thing about these movies is the fact that people view Iron Man as like this huge character. How many people really talked about Iron Man before the first movie came
Nobody.
out?
Iron Man was like wasn't even a B-list. You think he wasn't
He
even a
was-
B-lister character? He was
I think
just right under
among comic book people, he was pretty big, but it wasn't like
not like
an outside thing because
Yeah.
big among comic book fans,
Yeah.
but not big in the sense of like. You know, like Spider-Man had his own shows, and X-Men. Basically, like the main three were all the ones that owned by the other properties: X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Spider-Man.
When did they change that famous Marvel poster from Spider-Man to Iron Man in the front?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so
when did they do that?
That was like it was. I think in the last like 2 years. Yeah, I saw that too.
Like obviously that when you see here
Like that would be Iron Man right now.
And there's this one poster like
Yeah,
Spider-Man saying,
Oh,
first
it's
come
right
out.
there.
Yeah, and then they
It's
made
new,
that
right?
second poster, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like before Iron Man 1 came out, you probably would see him like back there chilling with Nova, like flying in the back or something
Yeah.
like that.
Like,
But
what
yeah.
was bigger than now?
I feel like Nova can be a big character too. I'm surprised. I thought they were going to announce that. But yeah.
So after Phase 3, Spider-Man joins. They're all happy. Do you think X-Men and Fantastic Four will ever be part of that?
Right, yeah. Shoot.
I think it's possible. Something that we've said is that a lot like the way Amazing Spider-Man 2 turned out, it really depends on the success of the franchises. I think X-Men is in kind of a good
I think
place for
everyone
itself right
wants
now.
X-Men.
Everyone wants it,
Like,
but
everyone wants everyone in
it's a thing.
the
it's-
same
it's-
Yeah.
A thing that's really like conflicting is the fact that for that to happen, their movies have to be bad. Like we love Days of Future Past, right? We all really liked it here.
That was good, yeah.
Like stuff like that happening.
No, I really
That
liked
stuff
it.
like that happening hurts the chances of a crossover because their
Exactly.
franchise is successful.
Same with Fantastic Four. Like, I was on the fence about it before the trailer came out. And the trailer came out, I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, good and bad. I'm like, this is pretty good, but I want it to fail because I want it to join with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's how I thought.
Yeah,
But-
that's like it's kind of like it's on one side you
They
want it
have
to be
mixed
good.
emotions because
Yeah.
you already know how bad the other ones were, and then you're like,
Yeah.
just screw it up, but don't.
Screwed up enough that we can kind of enjoy the movie, but
I like it
give the rights over.
Yeah. I like it they do justice, but just fail, please. Just fail. But with Sony and with Fox, I think Fox sees what Sony's doing. Like, I feel like Fantastic Four could, because it's a new universe that they're establishing in the new Fantastic Four film. So what they can do is, seeing how Sony still has control over Spider-Man, which I hate, by the way, but they still have control over Spider-Man and getting money, but they're just letting Marvel do the whole creative process.
Yeah.
And I feel like Fox can do that too, depending on the success of Fantastic Four.
And Apocalypse, X-Men Apocalypse.
And-
if you're talking about X-Men still.
And I feel like X-Men's
I think they're going to be
they're
a
in a good
standalone
place.
for
even
a
if it
while.
doesn't do well, that's still big of a franchise where it's gonna just do well.
I think Fantastic Four is still barely hanging on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really, really want Fantastic Four because along with Fantastic Four, if Marvel does get
Two
the rights,
certain
eventually
characters.
there's two certain characters that they have with Fantastic Four that Sony has.
Are they on here?
I mean Fox, sorry.
Are they on here?
Which is
No, they're not on here.
well, Doom is
Oh, that's
But we're not
the
talking
ones
about
that we're talking
Forget
about.
Doom.
The two characters that we really want.
Silver Surfer and
Oh, yes.
Galactus.
Galactus. Oh,
The world.
Excuse me,
the
excuse
world
me.
devourer.
Galactus.
Yeah, Surfer and
Galactus.
Galactus. These are, I think, Surfer is probably
Mine as well.
ours, one of our favorite
characters. Most of our
characters.
favorite characters here.
And I don't think a lot of people are talking about this, but a Silver Surfer solo film, especially with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, would be amazing. With the right director and stuff like that, because Silver Surfer has content and a character that it just screams out like, to me, an Oscar-nominated movie.
Yeah.
If they do it right. If they do it right,
Yeah.
because people think I'm crazy, but everyone, you've probably seen Gravity, the director, Alfonso Cuarón. Just the way the Gravity's shot and the way his mind is, I feel like if he does a Silver Surfer movie, that would be
That's
amazing. And just the story and everything works.
That'd be like an art movie. That wouldn't
It
even
can be an art
like
movie,
just some,
yeah.
a superhero
And
movie.
picturing, if you guys are read or are not reading, pick up the new event, Silver Surfer.
Read that
Marvel
series.
Now. Read that series, Dan Slott. It's really good.
Oh,
And
it's on the 10th one right now. It comes out monthly, I think.
At the same time, though, I feel like that series is really light. I feel like it's kind of on the opposite spectrum of the other
Still
side
light,
of Silver
but-
Surfer that you want the movie for. But
Yeah.
it's honestly both sides are like she's just a great character overall. A little
It'd be a
background on
good
the character. Like I feel like a lot of people do know Silver Surfer, but let's give a little background on him.
If they watch the second Fantastic Four movie.
That movie is a piece of atrocity.
Galactus is a clown. No!
It's a goddamn clown.
Jesus
We're just
Christ!
talking about how bad that movie is.
Oh my god, I'm leaving now! Jesus!
Who is it?
Alright, after, we'll just call it the horrible movie.
horrible
Silver
movie
Surfer.
that happened,
That happened.
and it does not exist.
It happened.
Christ of this Jesus. Anyway, so,
Can we please review
that
it?
crap movie just lost my train of thought.
No, I was
Jesus.
explaining the origin of Silver Surfer. A brief
Who directed
origin.
that movie? I want to kill the director. Like, literally.
No one knows.
I don't
even
even want to know.
Yeah.
God, I know.
Okay.
God, I was for watching that.
Alright, so a little brief origin.
So,
Norrin Rad,
aka Norrin Rad.
aka a little silver Superman, aka silver tongue devil.
But yeah, with Silver Surfer, Norrin Rad, basically what happens is, I think this is a basic sort of origin. I know. So basically, his planet is about to die, and I guess he makes a deal. His planet, right?
It's not actually
Talking about
about.
the comic?
No, it's not about to die. It's
Origin.
basically that
Someone's gonna- Galactus is about to-
Oh.
He spares his planet.
Yeah,
Because
let's say that. He's gonna, yeah.
He spares his planet because Norrin Rad, before he's deemed Silver Surfer, gives up himself to become the herald of Galactus, this cosmic being of like godly proportions
And
who
yeah.
basically goes around devouring planets just because he needs to survive. And
So-
he's a being that predates the universe. He's just
Yeah.
like he always was and always will be.
So Surfer basically goes around and finds these planets for Galactus.
Galactus.
He's the one that gave him his powers. And just think about that. Think about Galactus, obviously this huge big ass being, and just Surfer. That would make up for an amazing ass movie. Just thinking about
Just
it.
the
Anything in
scale.
space, just the scale.
Just the shots like alone without even like Just the look of it would be amazing. Oh.
As long as and just Reed Richards and Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, Galactus, if they get the rights, man, that's gonna be.
And another thing worth noting, like the reason why we want Silver Surfer with that is because people really associate Silver Surfer with the Fantastic Four because in the comics, like that's where he makes his first appearance. It's in a Fantastic Four comic. The Fantastic Four are known for their cosmic adventures, and that would really mesh well with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as we've said before. Basically, like they're really unlocking the cosmic realm with Guardians, next Captain Marvel. This is really a good opportunity. Like if they ever want to do it, like really try to get those rights.
It's the thing I kind of like Reed Richards being sort of old, which he isn't. Which I wouldn't mind him joining with MCU, but I kind of want the old Reed Richards.
No, that's what I'm saying. It'd have to be a reboot. No, it'd have to be like. There's no question that like any time like these franchises cross over, I'd want a fresh start. No matter how good, like I love the X-Men franchise, but I feel like it needs to be rebooted if it was in the Marvel
Banner,
universe.
Tony, and Reed going head to head, just devising a plan, creating the negative zone prison.
Yeah. Oh. Another thing that I just remembered was that Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are the technical children of Magneto, which is a pretty big deal. But I'm pretty sure that it's been established that Marvel officially at least said that they're not going to be. Like, that's not going to be the real origin of them?
Obviously when, around the time when they announced Age of Ultron and when Days of Future Past came out, it was said that, in terms of the rights, that Age of Ultron, Quicksilver, and Scarlet Witch couldn't mention mutants, X-Men, or Magneto, and vice versa with Days of Future Past, so they couldn't mention Avengers.
But they did show that it is a father-child relationship.
Yeah. Which is really cool in Days of Future Past. I like a little thing where he's like, "Oh, my mom knew someone."
That can bend metal.
They can bend, something like that.
And then when they're watching TV and you see Magneto on the news, the mother's like,
and him like kind of looking intently at the screen, watching his daddy. Yeah, but it kind of just that there kind of disregarded the whole possibility of it happening. But I feel like Marvel could keep it open ended and not ever fully say that they are just experiments, that they are... That's what they're saying, though. They're saying that it's more of an experimental thing and they're not truly born with the powers.
I feel like, with Scarlet Witch and Quick, that they're gonna... hopefully they'll say they already had a power and then Hydra was sort of, trying to harness it in a way and somehow they accelerated it or whatnot. But in order to keep the faith alive that X-Men will eventually join, I think... It'll be cool if they leave it open-ended, like they had powers before.
Yeah.
But they don't mention their father at all, just in case. I feel like Kevin would do that, just to, keep it open. So I feel like, there have been conversations under the table, but X-Men is such a big, successful franchise right now, as you know, it would be a while before they actually
ever do that crossover.
And I feel like it's going to happen eventually, but
they have so much story to cover by themselves that they don't need Marvel right now.
Yeah, and a thing that is also worth noting is that the X-Men as characters themselves, they've always been kind of self-contained in their own stories in the Marvel Universe. Like, they always did kind of cross over with Avengers and Fantastic Four and stuff, but it was really on a small scale. Like, even in Civil War, there's a specific bit where Emma Frost, who is one of the main X-Men, she specifically says to them, like, keep us out of it, which is a really funny thing. Like, it'd be a funny reference in the movie to do something like that, but that's not going to happen. But... yeah, like they don't really need X-Men as much as they could use other characters. X-Men's kind of like safe where it is right now, but like it would be awesome down the line. Yeah.
Like it would be even now, even having MCU and X-Men connected, if it happened already, because obviously like you said, X-Men already had its own separate storyline, its own thing. Don't really mesh with Avengers as much. They do relatively, not a lot, but they do in the comic, but I'm saying it could already exist without them really connecting in that way.
Yeah.
But it would be a long time before they have a connection with MCU. But I feel like with the Fantastic Four, that can happen pretty soon.
Yeah.
If this movie does good or bad. Which again, like I said before, it looks good, but I want it to do bad because I want it to join MCU. I want Reed Richards and Tony Stark facing off with intelligence. I'll stop doing this now. I don't know why I'm doing that. Hot Peas. That's the name of the channel.
And we're done.
Are we?
I think so.
Are we done? So, next week, guys, charades, underwears, Red Bull, and the honey, right?
Naked.
Well, naked's a given. Oh.